Hello and welcome to Bottleship with our friends the Jifflings. If you enjoy the show, please leave a review and share the podcast with your friends. And stay tuned to the end of the show when the Jifflings will read out some of your reviews. Also, keep an eye out for another special bonus episode coming next week. And now it's time for today's episode, The Shepherd's Crook. In your world, things are important. But what about the things that aren't important anymore? Well, sometimes those things end up here in the magical land of Dilstonia, where the Jifflings live on their little Jiffling ship. They find these things that we throw away and fish them out of their sea so they can recycle them and put them to good use once again. And here they are now, ready to work. Eccentric young pumpkin.
Ooh, I'm ever so excited.
The hedge, who was a very lazy Jiffling.
Like, hey man, is it time for bed yet?
Miss Katy, who loves fixing things and dressing up. Sometimes I like both together. Albert, the ship's gardener.
Hey, who's been into me cabbage patch like?
And Friedeline, a very sensible Jiffling who looks after everybody on the ship.
Yeah, that is correct. Oh,
Today on the ship, it is a rather noisy day, as all the Jifflings are practicing their musical instruments. Everyone has dressed up in their smartest clothes, so they can put on a wonderful Jiffling concert and play their favourite songs. Each Jiffling has their favourite instrument ready to toot, hoot or whistle, and Friedeline is their conductor, so she is making sure that everyone knows exactly when they need to start playing.
oh, huh, Albert, today I see you have your doubly-double bass. Aye, one bass wasn't enough for me, Friedeline. I had to have double the bass. Very good. And you know what part to play? Why, of course, I go.
La 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 la, la 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 la. Oh no, that didn't sound like Albert's part at all.
Hey.
And indeed, it wasn't. For sitting next to Albert, holding her big shiny flute and wearing her fanciest ball gown, was a very excited Miss Katy, who had tooted all over Albert's turn.
Miss Katy, it is not the time for your floopity flute just yet.
But I made this flute myself, Friedeline, and I just can't wait to play it. Friedeline thought it was good to be enthusiastic, but she wanted everyone to have their turn, and so she moved along to where young Pumpkin was quivering under the weight of his big golden trombone.
So, the pumpkin, next it is you to play on your trombly trombone. Ooh, I love my trombone, and I love playing music, and I love...
La 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 la.
Oh no, that's not my trombone.
No, it isn't, young Pumpkin, because that was the sound of Miss Katy interrupting somebody else's turn with her tooty-fluty fluting for the second time.
Miss Katy, you must wait for your turn, yeah?
But I really love music, Friedeline. It's just so much fun.
And so do we all. But you must wait your turn. Now, where is the hedge? Ah, yes. So, hedge, now we hear your lovely instrument. I've got like a triangle, man. And every time I hit it, it goes ting. Very good, hedge. So, let us practice your part in 3, 2, 1.
La 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 la. All the Jiffs turned and looked at Miss Katy, who was holding her flute rather gingerly now. Oh, sorry everyone.
Oh, Miss Katy, you must let everyone play their own part if we are going to make the music together.
Oh, Jiffs, you know what that means. It's the sound of an object which has been lost or thrown away on Earth, and now it has found its way into your net. Better put down your instruments for now. You'll all need to help out to get the object up onto the deck. The object landed on the deck with a clap. It was very long and thin, with one straight end and one curly one. Young Pumpkin guessed first at what the object could be.
Ooh, I think that's a cloud shaper that we can use to reach right up into the sky and make the clouds into all kinds of wonderful shapes. No, man, that's like a wakey up stick to wakey me up sometime around lunch.
Then Albert stepped forwards,
Right.
for he knew exactly what the long, funny object was. He swung his little Jiffling's feet
Right.
up onto the story seat and began the object's tale.
Well, this is the shepherd's crook, and my old plumber, Patrick Pipe, told me all about it. Once, in the beautiful mountains of a proud country called Scotland, there was a big farm with all sorts of animals. Quack, quack. And looking after the animals, there were 3 farmers, each with their own special job to do. There was old Farmer Robson, who always looked after the chickens, and farm girl Lola, who looked after the cows. And then there was a very eager young shepherd called Hamish, who went everywhere with his special shepherd's crook, which is like a long stick that he used to herd the sheep. Now together, the 3 farmers made sure everything ran smoothly on the farm, because each one knew exactly how to do their jobs. And although they all worked very hard, Hamish always worked the hardest. He would wave his crook in the air and shout, and pretty soon all the sheep would be in the barn. In fact, Hamish worked so hard, he always finished his jobs first, which meant he had to wait around for the others to finish. And that made him feel very bored. Then, one snowy day in the middle of winter, after he'd finished herding his sheep, he saw farm girl Lola putting her cows in the stable, and he decided he would do her job too. "Hike the huck the new there, I say. Let me have a wee go of that," said Hamish, waving his crook about.
Och no!
Cried Lola.
Crooks don't work on cows.
But Hamish just couldn't wait, and he went right ahead and tapped one of the cows on the bottom with his crook. What? Moo? Well, the cow wasn't expecting that. Moo. And instead of running into the stable, it galloped angrily off across the field in a big cow's hoof. Moo. Well, Hamish felt a little bit silly, and he was about to apologise to Lola. But then he saw Farmer Robson trying to get his chickens back in their shed. Hoo-hoo! There's a bit of a wee job I could have a go at, thought Hamish. So he charged over to the chickens, waving his crook proudly around in the air. "Hoot-say the new chickens! Off into the shed with ye!" cried Hamish, and he shoved his crook right in the middle of all the chickens. Well, the chickens got a terrible fright, and they ran off in every direction, leaving Farmer Robson very angry. Ow! Then Hamish realised he'd been a bit too impatient, and he should have just waited to let the others do their jobs in their own time. So he put down his crook in the snow and went off to help farm girl Lola find her cows and help old Farmer Robson to get his chickens back. And as the snow fell gently down, it slowly covered up the crook until it was completely buried and lost forever. And because the crook was lost, it has ended up here in Dilstonia.
Yes, Hedge. I wonder what such a windy, funny object could be used for now.
Maybe it could be the measuring stick, for measuring how much we have all achieved today. which is always a lot. Ha!
Well, that's a lovely idea, Friedeline. But then Miss Katy stepped forwards, with her little Jiffling eyes looking rather sorry. Why doesn't Friedeline use the shepherd's crook to conduct our music? That way she can point right to everyone when it's their go, and I'll know to only play when it's my turn. Oh, that's just brilliant, Miss Katy. That will make the performance run smoothly. And so, Friedeline took her new conductor's stick, and they had a wonderful afternoon of practicing before going to the front of the ship to put on their special Jiffling performance.
Hey, ho, hey, what?
La, 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 la.
Ting.
And then, after everyone had tried their very hardest, they all found they were quite exhausted. So they packed their instruments away in the sea cupboard and put on their sleep socks. And then it was time for bed. Good night, young pumpkin.
Good night.
Good night, Albert.
Hey, I'll see you in the morning, like.
Good night, Friedeline.
And it is a good night. Yeah.
Good night, Miss Katy. Night, night. Good night, Hedge. Hedge? Oh, I think the hedge is asleep already. And goodbye to you too, wherever you are. Maybe next time you see a thing that you might throw away, you'll stop and see if you can use it again, just like our friends the Jifflings. And maybe the thing you use again will have a story to tell too. Goodbye. Thank you for listening to Bottleship. For all the parents listening, if you'd like to, you can donate to the show at patreon.com/Bottleship. And for all the children listening, if you enjoyed the show, please leave a review and share the podcast with your friends. We've had some lovely reviews this week, haven't we, Jifflings? That's right, like this one from America. It says, "Hi, my name is Sammy and I live in St. Paul, Minnesota. My favourite Jiffling is Miss Katy because I like dressing up too. I listen to your stories at bedtime and in the bathtub sometimes too. My favourite episode is whichever one is the new one until another new one appears. I have a little baby brother. His name is Owen. I tell him and my cousins all about Dilstonia."
Oh, thank you, Sammy. That is a lovely review. Like, thank you, Sammy. And we have this review, too. It says, "To the best story writers ever. I love listening to your voice before bed because I can't get to sleep. My name is Andy, and my little brother's name is Morgan. We live in Australia. Thank you, and keep up the good work." Well, thank you very much, Andy and Morgan. We love Australia, so we're very happy you like listening to our adventures. Oh, yes. And we'd also like to say thank you to everyone who emailed or left us a review, like Charlie, who is 5 years old, from Belfast in Northern Ireland.
And Tima and Kareem from London in the UK.
And the big special thank you to Emma and Adam from Brooklyn, New York. Like, thank you, Emma and Adam. And thank you to Emma and Adam's dad, too, because he likes to talk like me. Man.
Yes, thank you all very much. We really do love to hear from everyone. And if you'd like to send us an email, please send it to thejifflings@gmail.com. Also, if you like listening to stories, why not check out our sister podcast, Storytime, for children of all ages. Thanks again, and we'll bring you more exciting adventures with our friends the Jifflings very soon. Goodbye.